So we're coming to a period in the Premier League and Fantasy Premier League which is really vital. It's that Christmas period where the games start coming thick and fast. This is where you have to focus. This is where you can climb up the rankings. We're going to look forward to Game Week 14 here on FPL Today, coming up next. What's up guys, and welcome to JNO United, bringing you the best in football gaming. I've already said it in the review, but we are focusing the channel on gaming because it was the videos I was doing most anyway. We will still keep trying to do football vlogs of either games or real life football. I still have real life football footage I've not edited, like 4 different series, and I've still not done the work for it. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Let's look at Game Week 14. So first off, and the early kickoff, is Manchester City versus Chelsea. Massive game with title ramifications. I know it's only Game Week 14, but I believe this game has massive title ramifications going forward. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably say I would put my money on Chelsea, just because they are more defensively solid, and it took a pretty good goal from Christian Eriksen to cause them to concede. That, and I feel they have more confidence. They also have less football to worry about outside of the Premier League, which I think is a massive help for anyone trying to win a Premier League title. And Man City have shown that they do concede goals, so I believe with the likes of Costa, Pedro and Hazard, goals are likely for Chelsea in this game. The one downside is it is at Manchester, at the Etihad, and Hazard historically has a better record at home than he does away. But Diego Costa, when he's on form, can score or get assists against pretty much anyone. I believe there's potential big points for people that have Southampton players. Crystal Palace versus Southampton. Crystal Palace showed in the last game how weak they can be defensively. All you need to do is have a decent set piece and you're likely to score. Now with the likes of Charlie Austin, Nathan Redmond, Dusan Tadic, and a lot of younger English players like James Ward-Prowse and the fullback Cedric and Ryan Bertrand, I believe Southampton could, if Crystal Palace don't improve their defending, score a few goals against them. Now Austin has been a very good striker for me, getting returns quite regularly at his price range, so I'm looking forward to this game and hoping Charlie Austin gets me some points. Will I captain him? My other captain choices are in some big games, so it's a possibility, but I always feel like it's very hard to ignore Costa and Aguero at the moment. Then we have Spurs versus Swansea, and again it's another team that showed how weak they can be defensively in the last game week. Spurs need to get a result here, and Harry Kane is starting to get back into the swing of things, and Harry Kane has shown that he is usually at his best mid-season, so it could be the time for Harry Kane to start his goal scoring run. We know he usually has them, he's done it 2 years in a row now, so will Harry Kane score against what is a pretty leaky Swansea defence? And then the last game I'm really looking at is Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Philip Coutinho, at the time of recording this, which is a day earlier than this is coming out, looks very unlikely to be playing in the fixture against Bournemouth. Now, Liverpool have lots of players who are getting assists and scoring goals, but as a team unit, Coutinho is obviously a massive part of that. He is a great player, and the question is, can Liverpool perform at the same standard without Coutinho? Although I am excited by the prospect of Robert Firmino playing on the left side of someone like Sturridge or Origi, purely because the last time he played in a game where Coutinho only played 15 minutes, Robert Firmino got 15 points. That's his highest total in a game for the season so far. So fingers crossed for me. If Coutinho isn't playing, this is when Firmino can come in, stand up and get the points I need him to get to keep my ranking as high as it is. And if you're looking for a cheap midfielder, I think James Milner's probably a pretty good shout at the moment, the amount of penalties this Liverpool side are getting. And it's because of what I just said that my captain choice of the week is Robert Firmino. Usually when I say this, it means he doesn't have that great a game week. Coming in at 8.8 million, so far this season he has scored 5 goals and got 5 assists. His goal involvement rate is 27.6% and he's had 38 attempts on goal, 28 of which have come from inside the box and 18 of which have been on target. That boils down to a minutes per attempt time of 29.2, and he also has created this season 33 chances for his teammates. As for the differential, it's a pretty expensive differential this week because I'm looking at Harry Kane at 10.8 million. He's only owned by 7.9% of players. A lot of that is to do with the fact that Aguero and Costa have been scoring regularly this season, although Aguero had that dry patch which caused some people to sell him and then regret it immediately. But Harry Kane has proven he is a Premier League top quality striker, and the run of fixtures for Spurs coming up in this Christmas break looks very promising. He's only had 8 appearances this season, but in those 8 appearances he has scored 5 goals, which gives him a goal involvement ratio of 46.2% when he's been on the field. He's had 19 attempts of goal, but 12 of those have come from inside the box, with 9 shots on target giving him a shot accuracy of 47.4%. Now, with Harry Kane, it's one of those issues where there are other strikers doing very well at the moment, and you have to get the right strikers at the right time. Now, it may be safer to just keep the strikers you already have. Keep Sergio Aguero, keep Diego Costa, because they're both players that can score against any side. It's not necessary that they only score against the weaker sides. But if you bring in Harry Kane and he has a good game week, or 2 or 3, when Aguero and Costa are not scoring, that is when you make a real difference on your ranking. As for the red herring of the week, we are still looking at strikers. Last game week, a lot of strikers scored some decent points, which may cause some people to bring him in as their third striker, and that is where the red herring lies, because some of these strikers only just started to score big points. Will they continue that bandwagon? Now, if you jump on it early enough, and it is a good bandwagon to jump on, then you'll be laughing all your way to a higher ranking. But it's possible that you jump on a bandwagon like the Negredo bandwagon at the beginning of this season, which is a complete waste of your time and a complete waste of a striker position. We just have to look at some of the top scoring strikers from Gameweek 13, and we can see Llorente coming in with 15 points in a Swansea side that are not looking that good and only scored that many because they're against a Crystal Palace side that's defence was just as bad. Negredo got 12 points. Again, he was playing a side that are weaker defensively than some of the sides they'll come up against, and he has had a massive dry patch recently. So is he really worth risking again in your side this early into a small bit of form? Benteke came in with 10 points. Ibrahimovic came in with 9. Sacco came in with 8. Origi came in with 7. And Wilson came in with 6. Now, those are certain starters could go on a good run of form, but players like Origi, he may not start. Sturridge may be preferred now that Coutinho is out. Sacco, of course, has gone and picked up an injury, so I really hope you haven't transferred him in. The only one of those strikers I've mentioned that I would maybe take a risk on, in fact, that's a lie, I wouldn't take a risk on, it's Ibrahimovic. I believe now that Pogba and Ibra are starting to perform a bit better, that Man United side might start to perform a bit better, so they might start getting points. But I don't see Ibra outscoring Aguero and Costa. And I may regret saying that, and I may make myself look like a fool in the future, but I think the points for strikers are going to be in that Chelsea side and in that Man City side. Aguero and Costa are the ones I'm looking at to do well, because Diego Costa doesn't have any European football, and Sergio Aguero has a long enough history of scoring goals in the Premier League that you have to trust him to do his job, as he always has. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in as always. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button and leave your comments down below on the decisions you are making for Game Week 14. Make sure to check out all of my social media profiles. I've been JNO, you guys have been awesome, and remember, it's all about the game.